Hello everyone and welcome to the Smite Oceanic Split 2 kickoff tournament we have today. Today we'll be showing you a few matches between few brackets coming through this tournament today. Nice little break in between the Pro League qualifiers and the Pro League itself. Joining me, I am Timmy with an extra Y, and joining me today is Tainted Goddess. How you doing, Taint?
Pretty good. This is my second cast, so excuse for errors and general annoyingness, I guess.
Yeah, it will be alright. So, a little bit of an interesting thing is that Rare Tosca wasn't available during the Pro League qualifiers just because he wasn't available at the very beginning and we wanted to keep consistency out. But now he's open, so we do see him banned out here at the moment, but I am a little bit interested to see if he will actually get picked up today.
Yeah, like I've been seeing him quite a bit in casual, and he's been doing really, really well. He clears the jungle really quickly, and he does really nice ganks.
Yeah, speaking of
And
nice ganks, we also have Thor banned out here, as well as Alquan and Bellona. Four people who can possibly go in the jungle. Some of them can go into the solo lane as well, but all very strong picks. However, no support's been banned out here, so Sylvanas and Athena are both open for contention.
yeah, and it looks like they're going through the double Guardian lock-in. So we're
Yeah,
going to either see a Ymir or Athena in the jungle.
yep. Both of them can do very well in the jungle. Ymir excels at walling people off, locking people down. Athena has those great gank potentials, but the Defender of Olympus can just gank any lane at any moment from no matter where she is at base, anywhere on the map, rather. But Sylvanas, I feel, is stronger in that support role. It's just that he can only be a support.
Yeah, so they don't have the flex. Though they've played picks and bans really well so far, not banning the supports, meaning they could get two of them themselves and deny. And we're getting into an Apollo pickup from Blue. Now, that's actually really strong right now. It's going to round out their team comp and allow them to split if they can't get the team fights they want.
Yeah,
And a
Apollo knows.
Humbuts.
Right, keep going.
Oh, sorry, Matt. And a Humbuts for the nice CC ultimates. So if they can team fight when they need to.
Yeah, it's quite important for them to pick up that jungler early because so many junglers did get banned out already going into the second bans here. But Apollo Sylvanas is just a strong lane because quite often you'll see Death's Toll with a tier 1 Devour's Gauntlet on Apollo. He has so much sustain by himself as it is. Then you put Sylvanas there with him, you just can't kill him. They end up pushing out the lane. Apollo gets carried onto the late game because he does struggle a little bit early with that wave clear of his. Not very strong at the moment, but Sylvanas is just so good to put with a late game potential carry.
Yep, and he's up against the Shablanka as well. So their early game should be pretty passive and know what should happen. It should just turn into a farm lane. And the Shablanka's probably going to go Transcendence just for that early mana on.
Yeah, early mana is important for Shipalonke. A lot of people don't like to level up the branching bullets at the very start because it's just not mana efficient and it's not consistent enough to clear the wave. You gotta really chip down the wave one at a time. Second lot of bans coming out here is Isis and Poseidon, both very heavyweights in that mid lane. You know, the top two mages in OCE at the moment, and both very strong at contesting the objectives, the Gold Fury and the Fire Giant with their big money ultimates.
Yep, that's very true. And it looks like from the red team, they've got a really nice late game comp. They've got the high damage dealers for late, and they've got a really strong front line.
Yeah, they
Yep.
do. Pandemic really do have a strong front line with that Athena Ymir as well. They are hovering over a Hercules at the moment, which is going to give them even more control, just absolute displacement onto Luminous. Just there's not a whole lot you can do when you just can't do anything. If you're CC'd chained, you're just right for the picking for a Shipalonke or Scylla. Going to see a lot of easy armor monsters coming out from Scylla if that's the case. From Luminous, we do also see the Agni and Osiris getting picked up at the last two bans. Osiris, we don't really see him a whole lot. He kind of fell out of the flavor due to the chin size. being nerfed quite a lot during these quite a while ago. But Chin size has come down in price a little bit, so he is a little bit more economical. But he can bully people out of the lane a lot. But Sun Wukong, who did get picked up instead of Hercules, he's very safe. He's got a lot of safe poking. He's got a lot of mobility to try and get him out of those fights.
Yep. Though with the going back to the Quinn size on the Cyrus, it should be pretty nice to take out their front line, considering they do have two really nice tanks and the Bruiser. With the Quinn size on the Osiris and his nice attack chain, he should actually be able to get through the front line.
Yeah, I do like that pick up there on that note, because you put chin size on someone, pretty much become a tank killer, just cutting through the percentage health damage. It makes it very hard for those very tanky frontliners to try and deal with, because you have to deal with Osiris very quickly if that's the case. And you can't if you build, say, a Witchblade, maybe a bit of magical defense as well, because they do have 3 magical power on the side of Pandemic. He is going to be very difficult to deal with, not to mention that healing reduction as well to stop all of Xbalanque's lifesteal.
Yeah, that would help a lot. So we do have two team fighting comps, it seems.
Yeah, definitely with the Humbat's Fear No Evil, that's probably one of the strongest teamfight ultimates at the moment in the game. Just spreads out everyone, just causes absolute mayhem and panic. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and take a short break here as we go ahead and jump into our game. Stick around soon. Hello everyone and welcome back to the match. Today we have Luminous vs Pandemic. Once again, I am Timmy, and joining me is Tainted. You excited for this?
I think so.
You think so?
I think so.
You better be so.
I'm waiting for
Yeah.
the mid game for the explosive team fights that will occur.
Yeah, quite often in OCE, like 15, 20 minutes into the game, it's very lackluster, very slow pace, and then all of a sudden it just explodes, pretty much like arena, just constant team fighting. So that always ends up being very exciting. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce our teams. Fine, on the bomb side of your mini map, on your left side of your spectator UI, we have Luminous, Matthew playing Osiris in the solo lane, Blaze AU is Hunbat in the jungle, Swaya is Agni in the mid lane, and your duo lane is Benny Boy and Church as Sylvanas and Apollo.
And on the red team, on the right side of your spectator UI is Pandemic Gaming. We have Commando Chris, Sun Wukong in the solo lane, Zacharias Ymir in the jungle, Lone Wolf on Scylla in the mid lane, and your duo lane is Snuggle Waffle on Xbalanque and Tori Skies on Athena support.
I love that name, Snuckle Waffle. It's like the most unintimidating name you can possibly imagine. And then, 20 minutes in the game, he comes around and kills you, gets pentakill.
Yeah, it's a kitty.
Yeah, so we're going to see fairly standard starts at the beginning here. Luminous is going to go for that three camp split at the very beginning, going from the back camps to the red to the purple most likely. But no invades, no wards coming out.
That's a purple pot on the Ymir, isn't it?
Uh, I'm not sure. I'm not too sure if I can see the effects on that. I think I did see a purple pot game picked up at the very beginning somewhere, and would explain why he doesn't have any actives or items. So we could see some early aggression here into the solo lane, especially seeing as how Matthew is all by himself. They opted into going for the blue buff at the very beginning, and Blaze will be going towards the mid lane possibly,
Yeah.
uh, going from the speed buff.
And Agni did not pick up his red at the start.
Yeah,
So he's already underleveled.
Well, the thing is like Agni, his wave clear early is fairly good as it is, but Scylla struggles a lot. But over in the mid-hand lane, Lone Wolf gonna find Blaze in the mid camp set, takes him down very low, but doesn't manage to get the kill. Only has the Sikkim. Does I believe he only just got the? No, he had the Sikkim, but he didn't go for it. But yeah, Blaze needs to be very careful here because he can get in trouble. Here, Sakurai is in the mid lane here. They are going for this is very greedy.
Yeah, and oh,
Oh,
Lone
that
Wolf coming in.
Oh no, Crush coming out here, picking up Blaze. Lone Wolf gained the first blood. That's not something you want to do. You don't want to give Scylla first blood because even though she struggles early, once she starts getting a handle on her wave clear, she starts getting an advantage. There's nothing you can do about it. So
Precisely.
yeah, that's gonna make Swaya's job a little bit harder.
And Zachariah looking at the left lane at the moment, just seeing if he can apply some pressure in, and decides against it and just going to back out and head back over to the mid lane, get some more farming.
Yeah, it's a bit risky because like a lot of times when we do have a pause out here coming from Snuggle Waffle. Again, that name just cracks me up. But like, it's very risky ganking the dual lane because you're not just dealing with one person, you're dealing with two people, and one of them is very controlling. So unless it's executed very well, it can be very dangerous for Zachariah. So he's gonna go ahead just show presence around the map at the very moment.
Yeah, but early levels coming out. The start from Luminous did not go the way they wanted it, though they are going to pick up their red buff at the moment, and
Yeah,
hopefully pick up that lost XP which they missed at the start.
yeah, that is a little bit for saving grace. And Swaya not gonna pick up the red? No, he's gonna pick up the red now. So even though Lone Wolf did get the first kill there, Swaya does have the red buff now, so his wave clear should be a little bit better, but he is going to lose a few minions to this tower right now. And coming on to the left-hand side, Sakurai and Lone Wolf are marching on towards Benny Boy and Church. They could be in danger.
Yep, and here they go.
Oh, she's a monster! Oh, again, absolutely obliterated. Snuggle Waffle picking up the last kill there. Gonna go ahead and go on towards Benny Boy there. Shots of ice coming down to slow him down. He does get rooted, and Snuggle Waffle picks up a double kill.
Mm,
That was a good Sikkim as well from Lone Wolf. Does manage to keep him into the shards of ice. Uh, Blaze is in a very dangerous predicament here. He is trying to defend his tower against three people, but I'd say it's probably better if he just left it. Fear no evil coming out here, fearing onto Snuggle Waffle, and that's going to be a complete disengage. He realized he couldn't really do a whole lot. Athena Ymir just too dangerous to deal with early, too much control, and Snuggle Waffle, his morale's high. He wants to fight. He just got
he
double
wants
kill.
it. Yep. See, that play was because Blaza showed himself in the mid lane, so they knew that there was going to be no counter gank from Blaza.
Yeah, and there's no wards around either at the moment from any team, so the only vision that you have is either off of gods or off of minions.
Yeah, and that's what caused, well, main cause of that play is just knowing that you're safe there.
Hmm. Now, I know that with Hand of the Gods did get quite a hefty nerf in the one of the most recent patches, but it did get slightly buffed now that the threshold is 1,000 health instead of 900. However, no one's gone for Hand of the Gods What do you think about that?
Well, the jungles that we're using here, or seeing in this game, don't really need it for their early clear, so they don't really need to pick it up. And the supports not picking it up mean they can actually grab like a Heavenly Agility, a Awakening Curse, or even a Shell for later in the game in these big team fights. And the extra protections, or general buffs, debuffs that the extra actives come off, it just far outweighs the hog.
The early potential of Hog, because at rank 1 it only hits one target, and if you use that, say, on the purple buff, it only kills the large one down to about half health. So it's not really huge advantage. As well as I heard that with the objectives, the health bar doesn't quite register. It doesn't quite update all that properly. You can use the Hand of the Gods at 1300, 1200, and still might get the kill depending on how fast you blow it down. So the ability to have that initiation from the blink, or to try and slow someone down with that creeping curse, it gives you a lot more gank and initiation potential.
There was
If
some
Olympus
really
coming out
nice.
on the mid lane, Blaze at you, gained very low there, does jump out over the ice wall there, does manage. They just want the monkey. They're playing Chase the Monkey today.
Yep, and at the moment they're looking at the mid lane. Got three in there. Oh no, they're backing out now. They're just going to do the recalls, buy some nice new juicy shiny items, and come back into lane.
Yeah, we see a
Pretty,
lot of
pretty.
we see a lot of team fights coming around on the mid lane, just because the jungler rotates around there a lot. The mid lane is there as it is, but the main thing is those mid camps. If you start getting those aggression, you start controlling the mid camps, and when you don't have the timer on those, it makes it very hard to actually pick them up until later on in the game, when people start to lose interest in them, and it ends up allowing you to snowball quite a lot.
Yeah, so like the most of the gold is from the kills so far. Like Luminous are keeping their farm up pretty nicely.
Yeah, Luminous is Pandemic rather. Pandemic is up 1300 gold and 1000 experience, so it is somewhat of a lead, but it's not something that Luminous can't come back from. Yeah, Pandemic is just taking mid camp after mid camp, and they're slowly bleeding out Luminous.
Slowly but surely. Though,
Do you reckon
Commander
Luminous
Chris.
will? Do you reckon Luminous would try and go for a Gold Fury to try and recuperate some of the gold that they've lost, or do you
I
think
think
it's just not worth it?
I think it'll probably be attempt at a steal. They've got most of the team fight there, and with the Agni bombs, they're going to have the stun up. So hopefully Scylla can't use Armor Monster to secure the Gold Fury. And the only other really high damage ability is Zachariah's ult. So Ymir,
Yeah.
though,
We did see Church there gain out there, doing the Apollo things, just pressing forward and leaving the absolute kill potential there. Zachariah not being able to pick anything up there. Blaze get caught out in the jungle as well. Frostbath coming down, as well as a glacial strike, taking him down to half health. He's really getting bullied out of this game.
that's one big Ymir. That was 2 auto attacks.
Well, that's the
A
Frostbite.
glacial path.
Frostbite, it hurts. Ymir slaps just hurts. There's no doubt about it. The only saving grace is that it doesn't hurt as much late game.
Unlike the good old crit face punch Ymir.
Oh god. Crit Ymir was just dumb.
You'd freeze them for 2 seconds, hit them twice, and there goes all their HP.
Yeah, and if they managed to live out of that because they were, say, a support, then you just use the glacial strike and keep on going.
Yep.
Reminiscing on good old days. So we're going to go ahead and take a look at some of our items here. We do see the Mystic Mail coming out onto both support solo laners. Speaking of which, Matthew is in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to go ahead and get out of there just fine. But that's a lot of damage that you don't expect to take just from boxing each other out, because they do have the physical defense, but Mystic Mail does deal magical damage, so it is quite a smart pickup there.
It is, and so far they haven't really done anything in the solo lane. All
They've
done
been
is
busy. They've been busy.
They've been slapping
each other in
other.
the face.
Though
No,
slapping each other doesn't really call for much. Like, they're
yeah,
going on it at the moment, and they've kind of come off exactly the same.
they
About,
come off even.
yep.
Yeah, that's generally warriors in the solo lane. It's just a bunch of slap, slap, slap. All right, I'm tired. I'm going back to base. See you in a moment, sort of thing. There's a lot of back and forth, so it's often quite surprising when we actually see a kill coming out in the
Mm.
solo lane.
So I think Commando Chris won out of that trade just because he managed to push a minion wave into the tower, denying the golden XP out.
Yeah, a lot of the times in the solo lane, it's just how much gold can I make you lose? Pretty much.
Pretty much. Now, it's a little bit later in the game, and wards have started to come out. What do you think of the placements of them? They've got most of the little entrances covered.
Well, most of them are coming from Luminous. Speaking of which, Swaya is in her mid lane, getting taken out very low. Good stun out from the Noxious Fumes, but doesn't manage to get out there. Does get taken down by uh, Tori Skies. Sorry, I had to have a quick look at his name. I hate people's names on Smite. I say it all the time. People have silly names.
The one bad thing about Agni getting caught out there is he had the ward there.
Yeah, he did have the ward, so there was no real reason for him to really get caught out. Fear no evil coming out down. Well, Chris getting very low there, but going to jump back up onto the somersault cloud. Armor Monster comes out, doesn't do a whole lot. Shards of Ice coming out as well, and Across the Sky coming down from Church doesn't manage to get a whole lot. Does get frozen, but does beat it out. So a little bit of a stalemate at the moment.
Though the Church rolling over into the mid lane has let Shabanki push left tower for free.
Yeah, Snugglewaffle is going to get that tower down. Good Nature's Grasp coming down onto Zachariah. Is going to get taken up by the tower. Commando Chris getting picked up as well. Church getting taken down by a Lone Wolf, and now Swaya is on pursuit of Toya Skies. I almost thought he was going to get the kill with the Noxious Fumes there.
And that was the explosive fight we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it is starting, teams are starting to want to try and fight a little bit more and more, but it starts coming in even more so towards that 15, 20 minutes of mark. But yeah, like, quite often you see the reverse of what happened. Normally, an Apollo will stay in lane and force the enemy ADC to rotate over to the team fights, and then he'll take the tower. However, Snugglewaffle got that tower pretty much for free, because Church didn't actually manage to really do a whole lot there.
Not really. I think that that main fight was them sort of diving the tower or getting pulled out by Benny Boy and just getting out of position.
Yeah, like, as soon as something happens, everyone wants to jump in to help out their friend, and then that escalates even further. So it's often a very fragile domino effect, quite a lot of times.
Yeah, it really is. And sometimes you just have to say, let it go and let your teammate die.
Just walk away. Save yourself.
Just walk away.
Zachariah coming out here. The Defender of Olympus going to come down onto him. Not going to be able to find anyone with that. But he does blink over towards Benny Boy. Freezes him. Shards of Ice coming down there. That is going to pick him up. Armor Monster coming out here as well. Looking onto Blaze there. Does manage to pick him up there. Going to go for that double kill. Swayer's in the sights, but he does dash out there to safety. This is going to be a Gold Fury.
It is. And they had a nice little sentry ward on Luminous's purple. And that meant that Sun Wukong could just TP in for free.
Yeah, he does have the shield to teleport, so if he was needed, he could have come in at his leisure. Church gonna go ahead and have to ult out here as Sakurai comes up behind him. So that's Across the Skies wasted. Or rather burnt up. So if he does get in trouble fairly soon, again, within the next 100 seconds or so, he is going to be in a lot of danger.
Though I don't think that was spotted out, so Pandemic won't know the timer for that.
No,
so they don't
they
know if it's
saw it.
down. Oh, did they?
Yeah, they saw it. Those two people on the left-hand lane, both Snuggle and Zachariah.
Ah, then they could leverage that as a really nice engage tool.
Yeah, if Church does keep himself out of position.
Yeah.
Yeah, so not a whole lot going on right now. A lot of times, people will just go around, push up the lanes, have a farm, and then someone will get, that itchy trigger finger. They'll start looking for those rotations. And I'm expecting it to come out from Pandemic, just simply because they are up in gold and XP, currently up almost 5,000 gold XP and almost 7,000 XP difference. So it is definitely in their advantage. And with that Defender of Olympus coming out there, teamfights can happen at any point. Speaking of which, Sakurai go ahead, try and freeze down Benny Boy, but it does blink out there to safety, and that's just complete disengagement. That happened.
Yep.
That ended as quickly as it started.
Though they did pop Church's beads. So
Yes,
the
that is
next fight,
important. Now he
which is
doesn't
probably
have-
going to be this mid tower, is going to be, pretty important.
Yeah.
They can get a pick so much easier now.
Well, Church doesn't have his ultimate, and he now also doesn't have beat, so he is very easily picked off here if he's out of position. Commander Chris gonna go ahead that right hand tower as well, while everyone's in the mid lane. Fear no evil coming out down. Monster against pops out here. Does manage to hit 3 people there. Shots of Us coming out as well, picking off a few more people. Snuggle Waffle getting a double kill. Sakurai is very low. Benny Boy's trying to peel for his team, but he's gonna find himself 6 feet underneath. This is definitely in favor of Pandemic. Sakurai coming up from behind, does freeze Slayer, gets him with the Glacial Strike. That's why you don't lazy back.
Just when we thought it was over.
Yeah, I think it was just about half a second away from backing as well, so that's got to be demoralizing as well.
Yeah.
Oh, Blade's gonna get head taken down by Snuggle. Snuggle was taking all the kills, and so he should. He's almost got a full passive right now. He's 5-0-5 right now at the moment, so he's definitely a huge influence.
That's a lot of extra damage, which can't really be bought. So Church is pretty far down on Snuggle right now.
Yeah, he is about 2,000 gold, just under 2,000 gold underneath. Matthew's gonna try and take away his blue buff, but he doesn't manage to get that. But yeah, as I was saying, Church is 2,000 gold behind Snuggle, and with that passive, it's 5 extra power for every kill, up to 6 stacks. So that's a 325 power that he has over Church.
Yep. Though, one thing I've noticed so far is Pandemic are making really good cross-map rotations. Like, they've got the Athena Defender of Olympus, and if you've noticed the Sun Wukong teleports, he's been split pushing the entire game, getting so much gold, and he just comes in when needed.
Pretty much, the Pandemic definitely have very strong rotations, and because they have that Defender of Olympus and the teleport towards. If Church isn't careful, he'll be taken out on the left-hand side, but on the right-hand side, Matthew can be in a bit of danger. He has to retreat all the way back to the Tier 2 tower, seeing as how he lost his first one to Commander Chris.
So, talking towers, Pandemic have most of the map that's theirs. They haven't lost a single tower yet, and Luminous have already lost 4.
Yeah, that's actually a huge detriment to them. Just not only with the gold, but now if Luminous wants to try and total up, farm up, they have to do it in a very awkward spot because that mid lane is completely exposed, and the left and right hand sides you have to be back very far, which means that they can lose their jungle very easily, as they are now, as the speed buff does get taken by Pandemic. Oh, Slayer. Laser, you gonna go ahead, taking down very low here from the Glacial Strike, but does manage to use the somersault to get out of there over the wall. Matthew is in a very precarious spot. He's just hovering just in front of this Tier 2 right-hand tower, but they're not looking to go onto him.
No, they're looking at the fire. They're just looking to zone right now. They have the wards.
They
know
doing
it's
the fire
clear
right now as well, and Luminous can't really contest this. They don't even have vision on it.
They don't know what's happening. Lone Wolf just going for the zone.
Oh, Benny Boy knows now. He knows, but he doesn't have the Blink Wrath Tower coming out here. Not going to be able to do a huge amount, but Zachariah does get very low. Benny Boy gets taken out by Lone Wolf, and Sway picks up Zachariah. And this could actually be a good disengagement. They did manage to get them off the fire giant, and they are in a very dangerous position as well. Sway getting picked up by Snuckle Waffle, but he might go down to Matthew. The sickle does miss, and Command Chris is doing an excellent job of
Snuggles
just
out.
yeah, Snuggles out. Command Chris did an excellent job of just defending his teammates there. And Matthew's also going to go down if he's not careful, but does get stunned out by the Judgment Tether, and Matthew picks up that last one. The Lone Wolf isn't finished yet. He goes ahead, gets Matthew. He's going to go ahead try and chase down Church. He doesn't have the across the skies to get him out of there, so he does have to choose his path quite wisely. That was actually a very good call from Luminous. They do manage to stop Pandemic from getting the Fire Giants.
Benny Boy's initial engage, that blink Wrath of Terror, just disrupted their entire everything.
Yeah, it stopped the damage going on to the Fire Giant, and it set up everyone for that little engagement there.
And then his pull after that was pretty nice, pulling Zachariah back into the Fire Giant pits.
Where you going?
So Fire Giant could have his way with the Frost Giant.
Oh yeah, I never actually thought about it the way the two giants having a little bit of a fight. However, unfortunately, fire does beat ice, as we saw there.
Yep.
Oh, I'm a monster coming down over the wall. Does get taken up by Swayer. Sakurai again, the last hit on that, does manage to get the credit for the kill. But, man, you just don't expect I'm a monster coming from over the wall. It's just one of the most scariest things. And now they're going to go ahead and take that Gold Fury as well. They are already very, very far ahead. Just before this Gold Fury falls down, they are 9,500 gold up, and they are now 11,000 gold up and 15,000 XP. This is pretty much one side. Yeah, Church is going to use the Frost Skies to get out there, because that's what Apollo does.
If they'd gone on a little bit earlier.
Even so, if they went on him earlier, he would have just pressed 4 earlier and just gone out there. You can't really do a whole lot against an Apollo when he has his ultimate ready. That's why he can push up so far without wards.
Though, they had 4 on gold, they could have done it. I still think they could have.
You still reckon? I think it would have just been wasted time, really. Yeah.
Looks like they go for a little bit of a split push now. The shielded teleport and the ult from Athena if they do get too far in.
Yeah. So, what do you think about Sakurai's build at the moment? Because the only penetration he has is from the Shoes of the Magi, but he's going to go ahead for that Wind Blade to stop all the slows from Osiris. We do have a bit of a pause, so this is a perfect time to talk about items. He does have the Wind Blade to stop the slows from Matthew, as well as an Ethereal Staff and a Midgardian Mail. Like, I would have liked the Void Stone, really, but I do like the items he's picked up here. It's very situational.
Yeah, I think he's just gone for the big frontline. Oh, and here goes the fight under the tower. Matthew going in on the Shablanque.
But here comes Zachariah here. He does have the Frostbite for Matthew. Good form and Wrath of Terror. That's going to disrupt them a whole lot. Somersault Cloud is going to go ahead, jump down onto Matthew. Benny Boy gets taken up by Snuggle. He's going absolutely ham and cheese at the moment. And Matthew does get picked up finally by Commander Chris. As well as Blaze getting picked up there as well. And the right-hand tower does fall to the way of Pandemic.
Yes. Anyway, back to the item build with Zachariah. He's gone for the more support Ymir, like you'd see from a standard support.
Right.
The more tank, the more I'm a CC bot. I'm going to tank the tower for my team and just generally stand in your face and be a nuisance.
Right, because what Ymir does early as a jungler, he really gets in there, he gets people out of position and slows them down. Fire Giant going to the way of Pandemic Gaming. But his job as a jungler at the moment is pretty much over. He doesn't have to do that anymore. Now he's another frontliner. So it makes it even harder for Luminous to try and push in. Because they do have a much more squishier lineup than Pandemic. Matthew, although he does have the Mystical Mail and the Emerald Talisman, it's just not enough to keep him alive for long enough. And Benny Boy, he goes in first, but he also ends up being the first one to die most of the time because he's just far behind. He doesn't have any magical defense at the moment, so Lone Wolf, Sakurai, and Tori Skies can just rip right through him.
Yeah, and that's the only problem with the support, and that's why I think the Ymir jungle is working out really well. Is he's built like a support, except he's so far ahead. because of the jungle solo farm.
Yeah, like Ymir does exceptionally. All the supports rather do exceptionally well when they're far ahead because you just can't kill them, and they do more damage than you expect.
Like,
Especially with that ethereal stuff, he does have about 160 magical power. Not a huge amount, but considering that a lot of his damage is from base, is still fairly nice. Nice little cherry on top. Fear Evil coming out here to try and stop Pandemic, although it's not going to be of all that great effect. And go ahead, see a standoff on the tower. 5-man Wrath of Tower knocking out everyone. Shards of Ice coming down to zone out all of Luminous, and Benny Boy's going to go ahead and fall here to Snuggle Ruffle. Once again, he's killing absolutely everyone. Armor Monster coming out here, getting a triple kill. She's a monster. Matthew gets out there just barely alive, and this could be the game. I don't think Matthew is going to be able to defend well enough against all 5 members of Pandemic with that fire buff, and even with the assistance of the Titan, he does still fall. Does take out Tori Skies at the very end. That's going to be GG for Pandemic.
That it is. That it is. Pandemic played that really well, and the damage dealers 10-0 and 10-0.
I'm a monster at the very end there. That was 3 kills in 1 hit. I've seen some Scylla plays at the Phoenixes, but that was probably one of the best shots that I've seen so far.
Yep, the front line definitely set that up. The CC holding them in place for that armor monster.
Yeah, and like Lone Wolf, he went 10-0 and 14. Snuggle went 10-0 and 9. Like this is what happens when you have 3 frontliners. The backline can do whatever they please because they don't ever have to worry about someone jumping in there and getting to them. Because when you only have maybe 1 or 2 frontliners, quite often they are at the front line trying to initiate. But meanwhile, say Blaze would try and jump in, go for those backlines. But if he did that, he would just get CC'd out and just blown up.
What it seems like is Luminous had a nice Cyrus and the Sylvanas being able to blink initiate.
Breaking up a little bit there.
There's the internet a little bit. So it's better now?
Internet is the strongest at the moment. But yeah, go ahead and see that one going to the way of Pandemic, and we will be back in a moment with game number 2.